sa immune system na inabot tayo ng 2 oras. So for today, I'm targeting 1 hour lang journal. So I'm targeting 2 p.m. tapos tayo. Or kung hindi man 2 p.m., a few minutes after 2 lang. Okay ba tayo doon? Masaya na naman si Jernan. Okay, so let's start with the idea of respiratory system. So syempre, ang importance or ang pinaka-main reason kung bakit kailangan natin ng respiratory system is related to the idea of cellular respiration. So if you remember last January, during the end of our second quarter, we talked about the process of cellular respiration or the process of our body using the energy coming from the food that we eat in the form of glucose, and with the help of oxygen, converting this molecule of glucose into 36 ATPs. Okay? So doon pumapasok yung importance ng respiratory system. Kailangan kasi talaga ng body natin to take in gas in the form of oxygen, because this oxygen will be utilized in the process of cellular respiration. So tatandaan natin, we have 2 kinds of cellular respiration. We have the aerobic respiration, which is the kind of respiration that happens in the presence of oxygen. And at the same time, we have the anaerobic respiration, which is the respiration that happens in the absence of oxygen. Now, both kinds of respiration will produce energy in the form of ATP. Yun nga lang, mas efficient yung process of aerobic respiration or mas efficient yung production of energy kapag ka merong oxygen, because we are able to produce as much as 36 ATPs compared sa anaerobic respiration that can only produce as much as 4 to 6 molecules of ATP. So mas marami yung napoproduce na energy, mas maraming nagagamit yung cells natin for the cellular activities. Mas capable yung cells natin in anong tawag dito? Mas capable yung cells natin in creating or doing more complex na mga activities. Papasok si Ayan. Saglit lang. Bigay ko yung link. Ayan, isi-send ko sa messenger mo. Ayan, na-send na. So that's the reason why our body needs this respiratory system para makapag-take in siya ng oxygen, para lahat ng glucose molecules coming from the food we eat will be converted into 36 ATPs. So mas madami, mas capable of doing more and complex cellular activities. Okay? So the intake of oxygen in our body is made possible by the respiratory system. So sabi niya dito, the human respiratory system is actually composed, isa sa mga purpose niya is for the exchange of gases. So when we talk about the respiratory system, hindi lang tayo nagfo-focus doon sa intake ng oxygen, but also, syempre, yung pag-e-exchange. So kung merong ipinasok, supposedly, meron din siyang kailangan ilabas. And in this case, in the case of humans and most animals, ang hindi natin ginagamit na gas is in the form of carbon dioxide. And we all know, syempre, during the process of cellular respiration, na nagpo-form ng carbon dioxide as a byproduct. So kung matatandaan natin yung glucose molecule, meron siyang 6 na carbon, and each of the carbon, di ba, natatanggal siya unti-unti. dumidikit siya sa oxygen which forms carbon dioxide. Now, this carbon dioxide is a byproduct. It's a gaseous waste na kailangang tanggalin sa katawan. So the respiratory system makes this exchange of gases possible. So kapalit ng oxygen na pumasok, the respiratory system will also remove carbon dioxide na nag-accumulate inside the body. Okay? So sabi nga niya dito, oxygen is required for cellular respiration, whereas carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct of the cellular respiration, is actually a waste and has to be removed from the body. So this intake and removal of gas is the primary function of our respiratory system. So, paano nga ba tayo nag-i-intake at naglalabas ng, anong tawag dito, ng gas? So, syempre, we have this process that we call as breathing. Specifically, yung intake of air to our body is what we call as your inspiration. Okay? And yung removal or yung paglabas ng air outside of the body is what we call as expiration. Sulat ko na lang ha. Wait lang. So in science, yung word na inspiration is a bit different doon sa normal na usage natin of the word inspiration, whereas inspired, katulad ni Jernan. Si Jernan na inspired. Okay. So, pen. Okay. So, yung intake of air in our body, ba't ayaw? Ano naman? Yeah. Pen. So, inspiration is the intake of air. And then we have what we call as expiration, or syempre the exit of air from the body going to the environment. So during inspiration or inhalation, syempre, this is the process of getting air from the environment into our body. So during this time, so this is what happens during inhalation. So we have different parts of the body that is responsible for the mechanics of breathing. Number one, of course, is the nasal passage, which is composed of the nose, syempre, which is the entryway of the air. At saka dyan din nag-exit yung yung air. Other than the nose, syempre kasama dyan yung mouth, kasi capable din of getting air inside and getting air outside yung mouth natin. Other than that, part of the skeletal system that is used through in the process of respiration is our rib cage. So it's not just there to protect the organs such as the liver, the lungs, and the heart. It is also there to provide additional contraction of the muscles for the inhalation and exhalation process. And at the same time, there is a piece of muscle here that is very important, which is what we call as a diaphragm. So the diaphragm here is a dome-shaped muscle that helps in the drawing in and in the exit of gases in our body. So during inhalation or inspiration of air, what the body has to do is to provide more space so that the air, meron siyang lugar kung saan siya pupuntahan doon. And this space is created in the body by, first, syempre, kailangan yung diaphragm has to move down. So pag nag-move down yung ating diaphragm, it increases the surface area or the space inside this cavity, inside this area, para mas maraming air yung pwedeng pumasok. Simultaneously, the rib cage also rises. So when we say the rib cage also rises, ibig sabihin, it moves outer, palabas. So kung yung diaphragm natin ay nagmo-move pababa to create more space, yung rib cage naman natin nagmo-move palabas. Again, the same purpose, to create more space para yung air na papasok in our nasal cavity, mas marami silang mapupuntahan dito. So mas maraming air yung pwedeng pumasok sa loob ng katawan. Okay? So this is the process of inspiration. So kailangan the rib cage has to rise, and of course the diaphragm has to move down to create more space. Whereas yung opposite naman niya is the process of expiration. So this one, kailangan naman ng ilabas or i-expel palabas yung hangin from the body going to the environment. So paano mangyayari yon? Siyempre, kailangan yung space, yung malaking space na na-create nila during inhalation, kailangan paliitin. So pag pinaliit mo yung space na yon, automatic, yung air lalabas. So parang pag may hawak kayo na lobo, pag piniga nyo yung lobo, lumiliit yung space. So no choice, kailangan lumabas ng hangin. So how do they minimize yung available space inside this cavity? Number one, the diaphragm, it has to move up. So this muscle will now extend and move upwards. So mas napapaliit niya yung available na space inside the cavity. At the same time, our rib cage, it will now descend or bababa na siya. So mas lumiliit na ulit yung space available in the cavity. So dahil maliit na yung available space, the air here inside the cavity will have no choice but to go out through the nasal cavity. So that is the process of exhalation. So sabi niya dito, inhalation is the process of drawing air into the lungs, and it is made possible by the ribs going up and the diaphragm going downwards. So because of this, the chest cavity becomes larger, or it has a bigger space to accommodate yung air na papasok. Okay? So it forces the air to go inside kasi yung pressure inside the chest cavity will now parang isa-suck in niya yung air going inside. And the opposite happens during the process of expiration. So during this time, your diaphragm, it now goes up, and your rib cage goes down, or it drops. So it creates a smaller cavity in the chest, which will now force the air to move out of the body going into the environment. So yan yung mechanics or yung process of drawing air inside and outside of the body. Okay? So again, ito yung kanyang, anong tawag dito? Diagram. So again, inspiration is the movement of air inside the body. So nangyayari yan because your ribs or yung rib cage move outwards and the diaphragm goes downwards, which creates a bigger space. So kung mapapansin nyo dito, mas malaki yung space in the chest cavity here compared here, mas maliit. So dahil mas malaki yung space in this chest cavity, it creates a pressure that will now force the air to move in. And because there is a lot of space, it means that more air can go in. Okay? And the opposite in expiration, so if the diaphragm moved down during inspiration, syempre the diaphragm will now go on the opposite side or opposite direction and move up. At the same time, your rib cage will now depress or go down, which will create less space, less available space. Ito lang yung available space niya kapag expiration, kasi ito yung diaphragm. So napakaliit nitong part na to. Compared dito, ito yung inspiration, napakalaki ng space niya. Lalo na pag bumaba pa, mas lalo itong diaphragm na to. So because smaller yung space in the chest cavity, it creates a pressure that will now force the air to go out from the body going to the environment. So because of this, magkakaiba yung tao when it comes to the inspiration rate, kung gaano karami yung hangin na kaya nilang i-take in. For example, singers, one of the things na kailangan nilang i-train is itong contraction and relaxation of the diaphragm muscles. Hindi ako familiar kasi hindi naman ako singer, pero as far as I know, ang tawag dito, isa yan sa tinitrain nila kasi pagka mas kaya mong i-control yung contraction and relaxation of your diaphragm, ibig sabihin mas, alam niyo yung mga singers, yung kaya nilang masustain yung note ng mas mahaba. So yung iba, di ba, lalo pag bridge, mataas, tapos matagal before sila nauubusan ng hininga. Whereas yung mga hindi naman singers, hirap i-sustain yung mga ganong notes kasi nga hindi naman super trained itong diaphragm nila in contraction and relaxation. The same when it comes to some athletes. For example, yung mga swimmers, they can, alam niyo yun, they can hold their breath longer, and part of that is syempre yung kanilang training which aids them in, anong tawag dito? In the control of the muscles of the diaphragm. So mas kaya nilang mag-hold ng breath for a longer period of time. Okay, so pagka normal, katulad ko, konting alakad lang, hinihinga, konting ano lang, ubos na yung, alam niyo, yung hininga. So, ayan. Because the diaphragm is a very big part of the mechanics of breathing. Okay? So far, are we good? Taas ng kamay kung nakikinig pa at kung naiintindihan pa. Okay, nasa breathing pa lang tayo, or kung paano pumapasok yung air inside our body at kung paano siya lumalabas. So now let's talk, ano naman yung pathway niya? Pag nakapasok na siya, ano yung mga structures or organs na dinadaanan niya before it reaches doon sa area where the actual gas exchange happens. Okay, so meron tayong several parts here in our, anong tawag dito, respiratory system that helps at kailangan daanan ng ating ng air so that it can eventually go doon sa area kung saan pwedeng magkaroon ng gas exchange. So syempre, the entryway is through the nasal cavity. Although sabi ko nga sa inyo, air can also go through the mouth kasi kung mapapansin ninyo, both the nasal cavity and the mouth, it ends up in this area that we call as pharynx. So kahit saang pumasok yan, regardless if it is the mouth or the nasal cavity or yung nose, eventually it will end up in the same area that we call as your pharynx. And if you will remember, when we discussed the digestive system, we also talked about a very small structure that we call as the epiglottis, which controls kung saang tube papasok yung air at kung saang tube papasok yung ating food. So yung nasa likod na to, itong nasa likod na mas manipis at mas makinis na muscle na to, this is our esophagus. And we all know that eventually the esophagus will end up in your stomach. So tatandaan natin na itong air that goes in the nasal cavity and the mouth, it must not enter the esophagus. Kailangan ang nakasara dyan ay yung, ang isasara ng epiglottis ay itong esophagus. Because the air has to go to this structure that we call as your trachea or trache for some people. Depende sa kung ano yung magiging pronunciation nila. Okay? So the air has to enter this trachea because the trachea will eventually lead into the organ that we call as your lungs. So the food will enter the esophagus and the air will enter your trachea. And along the trachea, we have a very small structure here that we call as your larynx. Now, your larynx is what we call as your voice box. So yung production of sound is made possible because of this structure. So madadaanan siya ng hangin dyan, although the larynx is not necessary for the respiratory system, nadadaanan nung hangin from the nasal cavity going to the trachea, yung tinatawag nating larynx. And eventually, as you go further into the respiratory system, you will notice that this trachea is covered by rings of cartilage. Okay? So kaya pagka hinawakan nyo yung inyong lalamunan, may mapapansin kayong parang, alam niyo yung parang gantong, ayan, diba parang ganyan, meron siyang buto or cartilage dyan, okay? Kasi ganito talaga ang itsura niyan, okay? Ito, meron pa siyang muscles here, kaya hindi masyadong kita yung rings of cartilage. Pero as you go further sa loob, wala na yung muscle, so mas kita na yung rings of cartilage niya dyan. And this trachea will now separate into two ways. Dalawa. One on the left side and one on the right side. So yung area of the trachea na naghiwalay na sa dalawang daan is what we call as your bronchi. Okay? For some people, they call it the bronchial tubes. So from iisang trachea, maghihiwalay sila into two bronchial tubes. One on the left, leading to the left lung, and then one on the right, leading to your right lung. Okay, so kaya siya tinatawag na lungs kasi dalawa yan, isang left at saka isang right. Okay, so let's follow the right bronchial tube. So kung mapapansin nyo, ito yung right bronchial tube. At mas naghihiwalay pa siya into smaller and several branches. So for example, meron siyang branch dito na mas lumiit pa papunta dyan. May branch siya on this side. May branch din siya dito. May branch siya doon. So yung smaller branches of the bronchi na napapaligiran ng arteries and veins is what we call as your bronchioles. Okay? So, anong pinagkaiba ng bronchi at saka ng bronchioles? Yung bronchi, they are bigger at dalawa lang yan. Isang left, isang right. Yung bronchioles, they are the smaller branches of each bronchial tube. At sa dulo ng bronchioles na yan, ay meron tayong tinatawag na alveoli. And this is the area of the lungs where the actual gas exchange happens. And later on, we will look into the structure of what an alveoli actually looks like. So, isa-isahin muna natin yung structures na nabanggit natin. So, sabi natin, the first part of the respiratory system, of course, is the nasal cavity or your nose. Kasi this is where air enters and this is where air will exit. And you have to remember na because this is an opening coming from the idea that we learned in the immune system, may mga special structures na meron dyan which helps it prevent the pathogens from entering the body. And one of those structures is that inside the nose, di ba, meron tayong mga hair follicles. Oo, normal na merong buhok sa loob ng ilong kasi it is a physical barrier from the pathogens. And they will trap all the dirt and the pathogens that will enter the body. So itatrap nila yon, sila yung first line of defense. At the same time, other than the hair follicles, meron ding mga mucous membranes. Yung mga cells that is found inside the nasal cavity is composed of cells that are able to secrete itong tinatawag nating mucus that will further trap the dirt and pathogens that enters through the nose. At the same time, it helps moisten the air that enters our body. Kasi very dry yung air from the environment. And pagdating niya sa lungs, kailangan medyo warm and moist na yung air. So yung warming and moistening of the air that enters our body, syempre kailangan gawin yan ng ating nasal cavity. Okay? So from the nasal cavity, syempre meron din yung mga capillaries, and it also helps in the, anong tawag dito? Syempre, our sense of smell, diba? Although yung sense of smell is actually related to the digestive system because it motivates you or it sends signals to your body na, uy, masarap, you have to eat. Okay? Pero part of the nose yan na it is actually marami siyang capillaries doon sa part na yon. Okay? From the nasal cavity, madadaanan niya, pupunta na siya doon sa tinatawag nating pharynx. So sabi nga natin, hindi siya pwedeng from the nasal cavity, pupunta siya doon sa pharynx. And then sa pharynx, dadaan siya doon sa tinatawag nating larynx. Yung pharynx na to, pwede pa siyang mapunta sa esophagus, pwede pa siyang mapunta doon sa trachea. So itong pharynx na to, nandito yung tinatawag nating epiglottis, which will separate kung saang tube mapupunta yung air at kung saang tube mapupunta yung food na kinain natin. And then madadaanan niya yung larynx, which is your voice box, which is the one that is responsible for the production of sound through the process of vibration. Okay? And tatandaan natin yung larynx na yan is composed of rings of cartilage. So circular cartilage yan, yun yung nakakapa ninyo. From the larynx, it will now enter the trachea. So the trachea is similar to the larynx because it is composed of rings of cartilage. Okay? At the same time, yung trachea na yan, wala siyang hair follicles, pero yung cells that is found in your trachea, for example, this is the cell, and this is the nucleus, ito yung mga different organelles niya. Meron siyang cilia dito. Okay? So yung cilia na yan, ang function niya ay parang hair follicles in the nose. Ang function niyan is that they will trap the pathogens na nakatakas sa nasal cavity. Unfortunately, nakapasok siya. So ngayon, kailangan niyang itrap yan. And this cilia can also move. So para siyang walis, pwede niyang isweep palabas yung mga pathogens na makapasok. So minsan, kung mararamdaman ninyo, makati yung lalamunan ninyo, tapos may gustong ilabas, hindi naman siya phlegm, pero para siyang phlegm. So maaaring yun yung mga pathogens na nai-expel nitong mga tinatawag nating cilia. Okay? And later on, as far as I remember, yung isa sa mga sakit in the respiratory system is because hindi na gumagana ng properly itong cilia na to. We will talk about that later on. And other than the cilia, syempre may mucus din, may mucous membrane din dyan sa cells that surrounds this trachea. So parang nose, di ba? Meron siyang initial reaction in the form of hair follicles and mucus that can aid in further trapping yung mga pathogens na maaaring makapasok. Okay, so yung mga pathogens na yan, marami na silang mga boundaries at mga harang na dadaanan before it can eventually reach our lungs. And then yung trachea na yan, which is a single tube, it will now eventually separate into two, which is what we call as your bronchi or your bronchial tubes. So if this is your trachea, it will now separate into two, one on the left and one on the right, which is what we call as your bronchi. So sabi niya dito, the bronchial tubes, you only have two. They are also covered in cartilage, ringed cartilage, that branch off from the trachea. And again, they are lined with cilia. So yung cells that are found in these structures, meron sila yung mga cilia sa taas, which will help them, anong tawag dito, trap foreign materials or yung mga pathogens na maaaring naka-enter at nakatakas, hindi na nakita nitong ating mga nose at saka nung nandoon sa trachea. And the bronchi is officially the entrance to your lungs. Okay? Kasi eventually, the left bronchi will now lead into your left lung, and then the right bronchi will also lead to the left lobe of your lungs. And then eventually, these bronchial tubes will branch off into smaller branches that we call as the bronchi. Okay, so these are smaller and they are thinner, and because they are cartilage rings that are found in your bronchioles in comparison to your bronchi. Okay, so again, ito yung mga parts of the respiratory system from the pharynx, from the nasal cavity, it will go to your pharynx. From the pharynx, it will go to the larynx. Larynx will now go to your trachea. Trachea will eventually lead to two bronchi, and then the bronchi will now lead to what we call as your bronchioles. And at the end of your bronchioles, the final structure that is necessary and very important for the respiratory system is what we call as your alveoli. And the alveoli is very important because these are this is the area where the actual gas exchange happens. So yung kanina, nung pumasok yung air, ang purpose pa lang ng mga structures na yon ay para dalhin yung air na yon in the alveoli. Pero yung mismong palitan or the actual gas exchange happens in the alveoli. And the alveoli is found at the end of each bronchioles. So kung gaano karaming bronchioles, ganon din karami yung tinatawag nating alveoli. At marami pong alveoli doon sa dulo ng mga bronchioles. Kasi the more alveoli, syempre, mas madami yung tinatawag nating surface area. At pag madami or mataas ang tinatawag nating surface area, ibig sabihin, mas mabilis yung tinatawag nating gas exchange. Kasi mas maraming area kung saan pwedeng magpalitan. And the actual gas exchange happens in the alveoli because napakanipis ng walls ng ating alveoli. It is only 1 cell thick. So mas manipis siya. At kapag manipis, ibig sabihin, possible yung tinatawag nating diffusion of gases. Okay? At yung diffusion na yan, it will follow the idea of concentration gradient pa din. So ibig sabihin, ang movement niya is from an area of higher concentration going to an area of lower concentration. So kung sa labas, mataas yung oxygen, mababa yung carbon dioxide. Sa loob, for example, dito mataas ang oxygen, dito mataas ang carbon dioxide. So the carbon dioxide will move in this direction and the oxygen will move in this direction. So diyan nangyayari yung mismong gas exchange. So this is what your alveoli looks like. So for example, this is your bronchiole. So meron pang dulo dito. Yung bronchiole na yon may 3 siyang dulo. Actually, 4. Ayan. So sa dulo ng bronchiole na yan, maraming bilog-bilog that we call as your alveoli. At kung mapapansin ninyo, nakabalot dyan sa alveoli na yan is a network of capillaries. Kasi syempre, yung capillary, sila yung magdadala ng oxygen at saka carbon dioxide. So itong pulmonary vein na to, na nagli-lead dito sa mga red na capillaries na to, ang dala nila ay carbon dioxide. Tapos itong mga kulay blue na capillary, which leads to your pulmonary artery, sila naman yung magdadala ng oxygen, ng blood na merong oxygen, pabalik doon sa heart. Okay? So ito ang itsura ng isang alveoli. So sabi nga natin, napakanipis ng kanilang walls. And because manipis yung kanilang wall, diffusion of gases is made possible. Okay? Isa sa pinaka-importante na meron dapat at very active yung lungs in creating is what we call as the surfactant fluid. So when we say surfactant, ibig sabihin pampadulas. So itong kulay blue na to na nakikita nyo surrounding the inside of the alveoli is what we call as the surfactant fluid. It is produced by a cell inside our lungs, the secondary pneumocytes or pneumocytes 2. Sila yung nagpo-produce nitong surfactant na to. So bakit kailangan mag-produce nitong surfactant fluid na to? Kasi pag walang surfactant fluid dyan sa loob ng alveoli na yan, mataas yung risk na mag-collapse yung alveoli. When we say mag-collapse, ibig sabihin magdikit siya. So para siyang lobo na biglang nagdikit. So nawala na yung area na to where the gas exchange happens. So pag nangyari yon, walang surfactant fluid, at nag-collapse tong alveoli na to, ibig sabihin mawawala itong area where the gas exchange can happen. So itong alveoli na to, hindi na siya capable of yung gas exchange. Okay? So pagka hindi na siya capable, ibig sabihin bumababa yung tinatawag nating surface area, at pag bumaba yung surface area, mas kumukonte yung area kung saan ka pwedeng mag-gas exchange, mas bumabagal yung pagpasok ng oxygen at paglabas ng carbon dioxide. So very important, itong surfactant fluid na to that is produced by the secondary pneumocytes. So kung mapapansin ninyo, nagdi-diffuse lang talaga across the cell membrane itong mga gas na to. So, syempre, galing sa labas, mataas yung carbon dioxide. Dito mataas yung carbon dioxide, dito mataas yung, opposite. Dito mataas yung oxygen, dito mataas yung carbon dioxide. So, because of the concentration gradient, yung oxygen na marami dito, ang movement niya doon sa area na wala masyadong oxygen, which is papunta dito sa mga red blood cells. At itong mga red blood cells na may dala ng oxygen, so syempre mataas ang oxygen dito, lahat yung mga yan ay may dalang, lahat ng red na to ay may dalang carbon dioxide. So ang movement ng carbon dioxide papunta doon sa labas. So palitan sila, kaya tinatawag na gas exchange. At pag itong oxygen na to ay nag-diffuse na inside, so syempre, dadalhin na siya ng red blood cells going to your pulmonary vein, and then from the pulmonary vein going to the heart. So tatandaan natin, when we learned about the circulatory system, sabi natin may two kinds of circulation tayo. May pulmonary circulation, at saka meron tayong systemic circulation. So sabi natin, systemic circulation is the circulation of blood from the heart going to the rest of the body. Pero meron din tayong tinatawag na pulmonary circulation, which is the circulation of the blood From the heart, going to the lungs, and from the lungs, going back to the heart. Okay? So, syempre, itong mga nandito sa kulay blue, sila yung kakabalik lang from the different parts of the body. So, wala na silang dalang oxygen. Ang dala na nila ay carbon dioxide. So, they will go back to the heart, left atrium, right ventricle, going to your pulmonary artery. So, ito yung pulmonary artery nyo, going to the lungs. Pagdating sa lungs, in the alveoli, magkakaroon ng gas exchange. Yung carbon dioxide na dala-dala nila, papalitan ng oxygen. So, ngayon sila na ay, ano tawag dito? Oxygen-rich na blood. The oxygen-rich blood will now go to your pulmonary vein. So, ito yung pulmonary vein. It will enter through the right atrium, right ventricle, and then going to the aorta will now be distributed to the rest of the body. So, specifically, dito sa alveoli, napakanipis ng kanilang walls. One cell thick lang. So, literal, isang cell dito, isa uling cell dyan. Ganyan kanipis yung walls ng ating alveoli. So, sabi niya dito, this is the lung side and this is the body cell side. So, ibig sabihin, itong mga oxygen na to will now attach doon sa red blood cell. Specifically in the protein that we call as hemoglobin, which is capable of carrying up to 4 molecules of oxygen. Okay? So now let's, anong tawag dito? Review kung ano yung naging pathway or yung naging adventure ng air from the environment. So sabi niya dito, oxygen-rich environment. It will enter through your nasal cavity. From the nasal cavity, it will go to your pharynx. The pharynx will now allow it to pass through the trachea. So madadaanan pa niya yung larynx dito. So from the trachea, it will now enter your bronchi. Okay? Yung bronchi natin, branch off na siya into 2. And then yung dalawang yan will now further become smaller and thinner, which is what we call as your bronchioles. And then from the bronchioles, it will now go to your alveoli, which is the actual area where this, baliktad pala ako, where this gas exchange occurs. From bronchi, ito pala. And then from bronchioles, going to your alveoli. Alveoli will now, anong tawag dito? Actual gas exchange. So, yung oxygen will now go to the blood. Ngayon, i-follow natin yung carbon dioxide. So, the carbon dioxide will now exchange. Nandoon siya sa alveoli. From the alveoli, it will go to the bronchioles. From the bronchioles, it will now go to your bronchi. From the bronchi, it will now enter the trachea. Trachea going to your pharynx, and then it will exit your nose. So it will now go to a carbon dioxide-rich environment, which will eventually be used by your plants, specifically by your trees. So that is the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out of the respiratory system. Okay? May questions po ba? Taas ang kamay kung naiintindihan. Malinaw? Kung may tanong, paki-chat sa box, sa chat box, or you can unmute yourself and use this time to ask your questions. Kasi yung next part of my discussion will be about the different illnesses and diseases na commonly observed in the respiratory system. May questions po ba? We are good? Okay. Gusto lang ata ni Jernan matapos na para matapos ng 12:00 eh. Ano, Jernan? Ano yan? Ano yan? Sige, kung wala pong tanong, let's continue to the next slide. So these are the diseases, illnesses, or malfunctions that is commonly observed in the respiratory system. So the most common is what we call as emphysema. So emphysema is a malfunction or a disease that is commonly observed from people who are smoking, specifically for people who started smoking at a very young age. The earlier you start smoking kasi, the more damage that it na nangyayari at na-accumulate doon sa iyong respiratory system. So kung nagsimula ka ng at a very young age pero tumigil ka naman ng maaga, ibig sabihin, medyo konti pa yung naging damage. Pero kung nagsimula ka ng maaga hanggang sa tumanda ka, dire-diretso yun, hindi ka tumigil. Ibig sabihin, mas maraming damage yung na-accumulate in your respiratory system. So when you start smoking, hindi talaga automatic na after 3 years, makikita mo na yung effect niya. Although, ang isa sa pinaka-visible effect na cause ng smoking is that bumababa yung, anong tawag dito? Respiration rate ng katawan mo. Yun yung konti, bumabagal kasi yung gas exchange, so mas mabilis kang hingalin. So meron silang test noon, yung ang mini-measure niya is yung respiration rate, yung level of inspiration tsaka level of expiration. Talagang mas mababa yung mga tao who are actively smoking. Kaya for those of you who are targeting na pumasok sa military, maging sundalo, or yung mga yung mga career na nagre-require na kayo ay very fit, such as police, Bureau of Fire Protection, tsaka yung sa mga Marines, hindi talaga nila sinasuggest that you start smoking. Kasi mas madali kayong hingalin, mas mabagal kayong manghuli ng kung sino, kasi mas madali kayong hingalin pag tumatakbo, tsaka yung mga exercises nila. Okay? So ano nga ba ang ginagawa kasi ng emphysema? Or ano yung nangyayari with emphysema? Yung mga chemicals kasi that is found in the cigarettes, ang ginagawa niya is it creates damage doon sa alveoli. Normally, ang alveoli natin, dapat yung kanilang covering ay napakanipis. So kailangan manipis siya para yung diffusion of gases mabilis. Okay? Pero kapag ka nagkakaroon na ng scarring doon sa mga damage doon sa alveoli walls, ang nangyayari, kumakapal yung alveoli. At kapag kumapal na yung alveoli, ibig sabihin, mas nahihirapan yung gas exchange doon sa alveoli na yon. Hindi basta-basta nakakapasok yung oxygen at hindi basta-basta nakakalabas yung carbon dioxide. So dahil doon, mas bumababa yung tinatawag nating exchange rate. So mas mabagal yung kanyang palitan ng oxygen at saka ng kanyang carbon dioxide, which results to what we call as itong shortness of breath. Mas madali talagang hingalin itong mga taong actively smoking, especially kapag unti-unti nang kumakapal yung walls ng kanilang alveoli. So isa yan sa mga nakikita nilang effect ng chemicals that are found in, anong tawag dito, in the cigarettes. Okay? So tatandaan natin na, syempre, toxic chemicals yan. It's not naturally produced in the body. At the same time, it's not needed in the body. So, hindi siya dapat pumapasok. As of right now, they are already investigating kung meron bang similar effect yung mga vape. Ngayon ko lang nalaman na may dalawa palang uri ng vape. Meron parang may nicotine na vape at saka meron palang vape na walang nicotine. Meron silang tawag dito VPSS. Nakalimutan ko. Anyway, they are now considering kung ano yung effects. Kasi kung magkukos din siya ng thickening of the walls of the alveoli, regardless kung may nicotine siya or wala, ibig sabihin, meron pa rin siyang negative effects sa respiratory system. And because of these studies, ang alam ko, they are already reading in the Senate na magkaroon ng hindi ban, pero isasama ang vape doon sa tinatawag nilang, ano yung tax na yon? Yung tax na kasama ang alcohol, cigarettes, at saka yung mga juice, at saka soft drinks. Ano yung tawag doon sa tax na yon? May nakakatanda ba? Paki-chat na lang po sa akin. Nakalimutan ko, ano ba tawag dito? Anyway, ang purpose kasi ng government niyan, kaya nila tinataasan yung tax is para magmahal yung presyo. At pag mahal na yung presyo, it discourages people from purchasing. So kung mapapansin ninyo, mahal ang soft drinks. Dati magkano lang ang isang 1.5 liter na Coke, pero ngayon magkano na siya. Considered kasi siya as sugar sweetened beverages, parang ganun, SSBS. Hindi siya sugar tax. At the same time, yung mga liquors and alcohol, nag-i-increase din yung tax nila over time para syempre hindi rin ma-encourage yung taong for out na palagi or frequent alcohol consumption. The same when it comes to cigarettes. As of right now, hindi kasama yung vape doon sa tax na yon, pero they are already considering, nagre-reading na sa Senate kasi meron nang nag-suggest ipasa yung batas na kasama na ang vape, regardless kung nicotine or without nicotine, yung doon sa tax na yan. Para unti-unti na rin tumaas yung presyo at there will come a time na ma-discourage na rin yung people to purchase these products. Okay po? So, ayan, yung isa sa mga tinitignan nila. May tanong si Adrian, bakit daw may mga tao na hindi naman nagsusmoke pero madali pa rin mapagod? Number one, you have to understand na the effect of emphysema is not just for people who are actually smoking. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na second-hand smoking. For example, hindi ikaw yung nagsusmoke, pero merong member of the family or people within your community na actively smoking at yung smoke na yon ay napupunta sa'yo. So, syempre, pag na-inhale mo yung smoke na yon, mas dangerous siya actually. Thank you, Adrian. Syntax. Ayan po ang tawag doon, syntax. Kaya siya syntax kasi, ayun, anyway, di ko alam. Basta yung mga common na bisyo, hindi siya necessary, hindi siya need. Wants lang siya. Okay, so bisyo, ayan. So, yun po ang tawag doon. Thank you, Adrian. So, anyway, balik tayo doon sa second-hand smoking. So, mas dangerous yun on your part kasi yung mga nagsusmoke, yung dulo kasi ng cigarette, merong filter yon. So, when they are smoking, they are not getting all of the chemicals inside of their body. Pero yung mga taong hindi nagsusmoke pero nakakalanghap ng second-hand smoke, wala tayong filter for those chemicals. So lahat ng na-inhale mo, lahat ng chemicals na yon ay pumapasok sa'yo. So even if you are not smoking, possible pa din na ikaw ay magkaroon ng emphysema. Yun nga lang, mas mataas yung risk of getting emphysema if you are an actual smoker. Okay? Pero may possibility that it can also affect your respiration rate or ventilation rate kasi nga merong you are getting second-hand smoke. Okay? At the same time, yung pagiging madaling mapagod, can also be caused by what we call as your passive lifestyle. When we say passive lifestyle, ibig sabihin tulog ng tulog, laging nakahiga, hindi nag-e-exercise, upo lang ng upo. So syempre yung katawan mo, hindi siya sanay. Wala siyang na-build na endurance. So kapag naging active ka, naglakad ka konti, hinihingal ka na. Kasi mababa yung endurance mo. Okay? So, for someone your age, na ikaw ay madaling hingalin or madaling mapagod, it's actually not a good sign. Kasi at your age, dapat very active ka pa. So, I would suggest a change of lifestyle. Maging active. You don't need to ride a bike. You don't need to run. As simple as walking or yung akyat baba sa hagdanan. Okay? Every now and then. Kahit 30 minutes to 1 hour every day, suggested siya. Hindi kasi talaga okay sa katawan na very passive, yung very couch potato, kung hindi nakahiga, nakaupo, tapos puro cellphone or puro tulog, tapos hindi na nagagamit yung muscles mo. Okay? So there are possible reasons for that. Other than that, maaaring may respiratory disorder ka, for example, asthma or other forms of sickness, kaya ka madaling hingalin. Pero I think, lahat tumama ba? So I think in your case, it's either yung passivity of your lifestyle or secondhand smoking. Okay? So, bago-bago din ng lifestyle, kailangan natin yan. Kilos-kilos din para at least, kasi bata pa kayo dapat very active pa kayo at this age or stage in your life. Okay? Other than that, syempre, meron tayong tinatawag na lung cancer. So, pag tinignan nyo yung x-ray on this part, meron siyang medyo cloudy na part. Okay. Sorry. May cloudy na part dyan. So, the cloudy part is because of the masses of tissues that are growing on this part of the lungs. Okay? There is wala pang study that can really correlate kung ano yung pinaka-factor which leads to lung cancer, pero smoking is also related to it. Okay? Mas mataas daw yung chance of developing lung cancer if you are smoking or talagang exposed sa second-hand smoking. So, paano nagkakaroon ng tumors? Again, the chemicals found in the cigarettes can cause mutations in the cell in your lungs, and these mutations will now reproduce very fast and then produce this tumor which will uncontrolled na siya, di ba? Yan naman ang definition ng cancer, uncontrolled cell growth. So ibig sabihin yung abnormal cell na yon mas mabilis siyang mag-reproduce compared to a normal cell kasi hindi na siya nag-undergo ng mga stops in the cell cycle. So that's lung cancer. Medyo mababa ang kanyang, mababa yung cases of lung cancer, pero mas mataas ang risk if you're actively smoking. Of course, asthma. Asthma naman kasi is an allergic reaction. So maaaring may nakapasok na pathogen, pollen, or dust, ayan, that causes an allergic reaction. In some cases, even may food na nagtitrigger niyan. So, ang nangyayari, if this is your trachea, lalong-lalo na yung peanuts. Ano yung tawag nila dito sa na to? Yung pag nakakain ka ng peanuts, nagkakaroon ng mabilis na reaction. Hindi, may isa pa silang tawag Nakalimutan ko na. Anyway, ang nangyayari doon is lumiliit yung passageway, nagsuswollen yung part na ng trachea na to. So mas lumiliit yung nadadaanan ng hangin. That's why for people with asthma or yung may mga allergy sa peanuts, nahihirapan silang huminga. So yun yung, di ba, kung may asthmatic dito, alam niyo yung hinga ng asthma, yung ang lalim ng kasi nga hirap silang mag-take in ng air kasi na namamaga yung passageway on this part. Yung pamamaga na yon or the swelling is the reaction of the body doon sa allergen na nakapasok. So very lalo na sa ibang bansa, very careful sila for people with allergies. Ayan, thank you. Hala si Adrian, sige, bibigyan na kita ng +10. Okay, nakuha niya. Kanina pa yung syntax. O ngayon, anaphylaxis. Thank you very much. Ayan, anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis. Very careful ang mga restaurants sa ibang bansa dyan. Talagang tinatanong nila kung kayo ay may allergy sa peanuts. Kasi napaka-dangerous ng anaphylaxis. Talagang pagkakain mo, biglang nagko-close agad yung trachea, yung pharynx and trachea sa loob, nagsiswell agad sila. Hirap na talagang makahinga. So for people with anaphylaxis, kailangan lagi silang may dalang, ano yung sinasaksak na yon? Mahal yun eh, nasa $20, $60 yun per EpiPen. Ayan, EpiPen. EpiPen naman kasi for doctors ay hindi lang ginagamit for anaphylaxis kasi it contains epinephrine. Epinephrine, which is the flight. It stimulates the fight-flight response in your body. So mas pinapabilis niya yung lahat ng circulatory para siyang isang malaking anong tawag dito? Yung parang ang taas ng energy mo bigla. Ayan. So, usually, ginagamit talaga ang epinephrine for emergency purposes. Lalo pag nagka-crash na yung patient, laging nag-i-inject ng multiple dosage of epinephrine para mas tumaas yung fighting chance nung anong tawag dito ng patient. Pero for people with anaphylaxis, meron silang tinatawag na EpiPen. So, ang tawag sa kanya EpiPen kasi mukha siyang ballpen. Epinephrine yon na automatic isasaksak mo lang sa'yo para ma-counteract niya yung effects nung peanut. So, mas makakahinga ka na. And then from there, dadalhin na siya sa hospital. Napakamahal ng epinephrine, lalong-lalo na sa US. Mahal daw kasi ang healthcare system ng US compared sa ibang bansa. So, that is asthma. For some people, hindi naman siya kasing lala ng anaphylaxis. So, okay lang na meron silang inhaler. So, yung inhaler ay parang ganyan din sa EpiPen. Meron siyang parang powder na gamot doon which will parang remove the swelling or slow down the swelling para mas makahinga ka ng maayos. And then, for people na medyo malala na yung asthma attack at hindi nakakayanin ng inhaler, yun na yung kailangan ng nebulizer. So yung nebulizer, may nebule, liquid yon, tapos para kang pinapausukan, lalanghapin mo yun. And then it contains yung chemicals that will reduce the swelling para mas makahinga ka ng maayos. And then other than asthma, syempre meron tayong tinatawag na bronchitis. Bronchitis is anong tawag dito? Bacterial infection in the bronchi. So, ibig sabihin, maraming bacteria doon. So, dahil maraming bacteria, ibig sabihin maraming mucus kasi tinatrap niya lahat ng bacteria na yon. Nagkakaroon na ng tinatawag nilang infection. So, during bronchitis, very common yung cough at saka presence of phlegm. So, ang gamot dyan ay to take antibiotics. Pero, syempre, the antibiotics has to be prescribed by a doctor para mapatay yung bacteria and prevent them from reproducing, para mag-lower down yung mucus at lumabas yung phlegm. So, syempre, para mailabas yung phlegm, kailangan mong umubo. So, wag po kayong nagagalit pag kayo ay ubo ng ubo. Ibig sabihin, yung katawan ninyo ay actively expelling or nilalabas niya itong mga phlegm or mucus na ito. So ayan, nagagamot naman siya, usually antibiotic therapy 7 to 14 days, depending siyempre sa severity ng kanyang infection. Again, you have to consult your doctor. The same with your pneumonia. Ayan. Pneumonia, the same, similar siya sa bronchitis, pero ang bronchitis kasi, yung mucus ay nagbi-build doon sa bronchial tubes. Pero sa pneumonia kasi, yung mucus at saka ay nagbi-build doon sa mismong alveoli. So again, pneumonia is caused by a bacteria. So infection pa din yan, which causes yung coughing at saka accumulation of phlegm. Usually meron na ring fever at saka pananakit ng katawan, malaise na na-experience for people with pneumonia. Okay? Again, you have to consult your doctor, antibiotic therapy 17 to 14 days depending on the severity. Yung COVID ngayon, most likely, usually ang effect niya ay ganito din, pneumonia. Kaya yung iba, ang tinatawag nila doon ay parang COVID pneumonia. Kasi ang nangyari, yung virus na coronavirus, nung nakapasok sa respiratory system, ang naging effect niya is still pneumonia. So kailangan pa rin, ang gamot doon ay para patayin yung virus at palabasin yung phlegm. Yun nga lang, medyo mabilis kasi for some people na very severe yung manifestations of symptoms sa kanila. Ang bilis nung accumulation nung mucus inside the alveoli. So yun na yung hirap na silang huminga. And wait lang hirap na silang huminga, so kailangan na silang i-intubate. Ipapasok na yung tube para diretso na sa kanila yung oxygen. Pakitaan ko kayo ng X-ray ng isang taong positive sa pneumonia na merong severe manifestation. Wait lang, download ko yung picture. Wala namang pangalan to, so I am not violating data privacy. Wait lang